What's going on, guys? So today we are going to be doing an upgrade to the fifth wheel that I've really needed to do for a while and I've been putting it off, but it's going to happen today and it's going to be an important one. It's also going to be a relatively affordable one for some and one that's just kind of common sense for others. Anyways, guys, I think you're going to enjoy this video. I'll be right back. Okay guys, so the upgrade we're going to do today is going to be directly related to an upgrade that I had done about a year ago. And that upgrade was to put the Saloon G637 tires onto my fifth wheel. And this is where the problem lies, that the tires that I installed on the wheels are G-load rated Saloon S637 tires. These tires have a maximum load capacity of 4,400 pounds at 110 PSI. Well, unfortunately, the wheels that I have on the fifth wheel have a maximum rating of 3,960 pounds per wheel, which means that I have to inflate the tires on the RV to a lower pressure than they're rated for, simply because I don't want to overload the wheel. Secondly, the rubber valve stems that are in there are rated to 90 PSI. And the second problem I could potentially have if I go over 90 PSI is that I could have a valve stem failure. And I don't want either of those to occur. So what I've been doing is airing my tires up to a maximum of about 85 to 87 PSI. And that's to keep them under the rating of the rubber valve stems, while at the same time giving me about 3,600 pounds per tire capacity to support the fifth wheel, which is more than enough to support the fifth wheel. But what ends up happening is, as you drive and the tires are rolling and they're generating heat, the PSI is going to steadily increase. And when that happens, you could potentially find yourself in a position to where now the PSI inside of the tire, the pressure, is going to exceed the rating of both the valve stem and the wheel. Now, I really doubt I'm going to have a rim failure, but I am more concerned about the rubber valve stems. So what I've opted to do was to go ahead and do a big upgrade on the fifth wheel that will address both problems at the same time. And when this upgrade is said and done, I should be right at about 4,080 pounds per wheel tire assembly while not exceeding my wheel or my valve stem's capability. Let's get out to the fifth wheel and take a closer look at the numbers. All right, guys, so we are out here at the fifth wheel. These wheels that come on the fifth wheel are designed to support about 3,960 pounds per wheel if you have the factory tires, which are an E-load range tire. The tires themselves are rated to about 3,800 pounds. So the wheel is slightly higher in terms of capacity than the tires. When we swapped out to the Saloon S637 all-steel tires, you can actually see the stamp on the side that says requires special high load capacity wheels. Well, these tires are rated at 4,080 pounds at 110 PSI. Unfortunately, I have to air them down slightly to about 85 to 87 PSI to prevent from overloading the rubber valve stems as well as overloading the wheel rating. So the actual capacity of these wheels as they are now with 85 to 87 PSI in them is only about 3,600 pounds. And I want to be able to run them at a higher PSI to be able to support more payload. Not really that I need it, but I do prefer running the tire closer to capacity spec. That being said, when aired up at 110 PSI, you're going to get 4,080 pounds worth of payload capacity off of the tire. So what we need to do is put the correct wheel and the correct valve stem on this fifth wheel to be able to support these tires appropriately so we can pump these bad boys all the way up to about 100 PSI or even 110 PSI. So we're going to take off, get the new wheels installed, let you see them when we're done, and see what the advantages are. Now, I wouldn't be as concerned about the wheel tire load rating for this specific fifth wheel if it wasn't for the fact that when hitched up to my truck, my fifth wheel does have a slight lean to it towards the back, which means I am putting a little bit more weight on those back tires. And that's something that could be a concern down the road simply because it's not evenly distributed amongst both. Even though there is a good equalizer in there, it's still going to be transferring some of that load towards the back axle. And that is something that I do want to be sure that I have the capacity I need to be able to support any additional weight that may be placed on that back axle. So that is another huge reason for this specific upgrade. In your case, it may not be needed, but it's definitely worth researching if you do have a higher rated tire than what the wheel is designed for, even if you've lowered the air pressure to support that specific type of wheel. Again, when you drive down the road, the tires are going to heat up and the PSI inside of that tire is going to increase. So you want to make sure that it can support the PSI when it's standing still cold and also while you're driving it. So we are out here at Discount Tire in Corpus Christi, Texas. We're going to get new wheels put on the fifth wheel. Let's take a look at it. Absolutely love working with Discount Tire. These people are always the most courteous and the friendliest people I really ever see whenever I come to a place to get any service done. So you were looking at the Taskmaster Valhalla wheel. This is a 16 by 6.5 inch wide wheel for the fifth wheel. These things have a massive 4,450 pound maximum payload capacity on them. They have steel valve stems that are already installed because these are very important. You don't want to blow your rubber valve stem out. eTrailer carries these wheels. Absolutely a great upgrade for a fifth wheel if you are ever concerned about the wheel and valve stem capacity on your current setup. One thing that's really nice about this specific setup is that they're not terribly expensive. They're about $125 per wheel, and that is not much to spend considering how much reassurance it can give you. Super cool setup. These things are going to look great on the fifth wheel. Let's take a look at the factory ones up close so you can kind of see a difference. So remember what you're looking at here versus these wheels that are coming off. Huge difference. I am super excited to get these things installed. They look absolutely great. When the center cap is in, it's going to look more like that. A lot of people install these on their toy haulers just because of the extra capacity they afford you, and some of your higher end toy haulers come with these wheels. So this is a really, really good upgrade for your fifth wheel. I'm in line here at Discount Tire. I think I have about a 2-hour wait before these are put on. I'm not going to follow the entire install, but I'll probably give you guys an overview. So we'll be right back. Okay, so they surprised me and got to it a little quicker. They've already got the axles lifted off the ground, tires are clear. They put a jack stand under both sides and essentially lift everything up. While I'm at it, I'm gonna see if they can replace these cheap little lug nuts that are on here because these caps always come off and they strip out. They're just not that good. So I'm gonna see if I can go to a better lug nut while we have the fifth wheel here being worked on.
Where they're at. So I'm gonna put them right next to the wheel. That one work?
Right now they're removing the Tpms sensors because they got to go back on the same wheel. So they're placing them next to the wheel position that they're going to have to be at. Your crew here is amazing, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, these lug nuts are pretty nasty. You can see how it has this sleeve that goes over the actual lug nut. And these things spin off a lot of times, make them really hard to work with. So they're going to try to put new lug nuts on here. All right, so you can see the driver's side are off. Those are all the old lug nuts. Hopefully the new ones in those boxes will fit just fine. But you can see the Moride SRE 4000, the heavy duty shackle straps that we have here, as well as the Joyrider shock absorber set up right there. Everything is in good shape. Recently had my bearing serviced about 6 months ago, so we're still in good shape there. It's all turned out really good. So one thing that's interesting is that the factory wheels have these little removable center caps, and you use these so you can service your grease zerk in the center of your hub assembly here. The new wheels have a different style where the entire perimeter come off, so you don't have this small cap in the center. You can remove essentially the whole front portion of the cap. So you're able to actually remove this entire assembly from the hub without having to remove the wheel. This just gives you enough room to grease the zerk. So here's the new center cap, and you can see how this entire portion pops off right here. Lets you remove it and easily service your hub. So these are my old lug nuts. These are my new lug nuts. Much nicer. Plus, they have this theft prevention design on them. You can see the difference. They're a little narrower also, which is going to make them really convenient for getting on and off versus these, which sometimes the actual socket would get jammed up inside of the wheel. Much nicer design. They're finishing up, torquing down all of the lug nuts to spec. That's something that if you don't include in the video, people just assume it doesn't happen, but they definitely do that here. I don't think I've ever been to a Discount Tire where they didn't do that. Anyways, guys, I want to give a huge shout out to the folks here at Discount Tire. They always do a phenomenal job. It's my go-to place every time. And just about any location you go to, you're probably going to have a pretty positive experience. So here's the before shot and after. These things look amazing. So what do you think, guys? I think they really make the fifth wheel stand out. They look really good. They blend in a lot better. They definitely have a more aggressive and busier look, but they complement the black trim with the silver as well. Looks really good. I'm very happy with this upgrade. Guys, if you are interested in doing this to your fifth wheel because you are looking to increase the load carrying capacity of both the wheel and the tire, and to make sure that they match properly, this is something that I would consider, mainly because it's not that expensive of an upgrade, especially if you already have the tires. It's something that's going to add to the look and appearance of your fifth wheel, but more importantly, it's going to be a functional upgrade. Anyways, guys, I will put a link in the description of this video if you are interested in doing the same upgrade to your fifth wheel. Like I said, between $125 and $129 per wheel. These are the Taskmaster wheels. They're 16 by 6.5, and they have a load carrying capacity of 4,450 pounds per wheel, which actually exceeds the tire now. So the tires have a load carrying capacity of 4,080 pounds at 110 psi. So this is a really good setup. Right now, Discount Tire aired them up to 90 psi. I'm going to add an additional 20 psi to them. I want to crank these things all the way up to 110 psi so I get the maximum amount of payload capacity out of them. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you took a moment to subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we will talk to you again very soon.